Well, hello and happy Wednesday afternoon, everyone. It is digital host A.J. Wuest welcoming you back to Before the Four, the live stream where I talk about 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 o'clock newscast. Wherever you're watching, whether that's on Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream, thanks for watching and spending just a little of your Wednesday afternoon with me here. Now, with all that said, I think it is time we jump into today's top stories. And starting things off with the weather here in the Tennessee Valley, as Helene has now developed into a hurricane. 48 first alert weather days have been issued for tomorrow and Friday. Now, 48 first alert chief meteorologist Brad Travis has more. Brad?
All right, AJ, we continue to see some active weather. We're still trying to time everything out. You see behind me, that's Friday night. Out west in the Shoals, still might see some wraparound showers for those high school football games. This evening, we've got some rain trying to work its way back into northwest Alabama. That may not be as prolonged as it was yesterday, but it's still going to be a factor out there as we go on through the evening hours. Here's a look at Hurricane Helene. Winds at 80 miles per hour. The next update coming up at the top of the hour. We do expect it to be a little bit stronger by then. It's been getting stronger throughout the day today, and it will likely be a Category 3 with winds at 125 miles per hour when it makes landfall at some point late tomorrow evening, just east of the Big Bend area, and then it kind of takes this turn, and that's because there's an upper level low parked out west. This is the storm impact graphic I put together. This shows you where the main concern is going to be, and you can clearly see this is a Georgia storm. And what's going to happen, this is going to be very similar to Opal. I believe that was back in 95. To what it did to Alabama. There's going to be widespread wind damage across these areas. Atlanta Airport's going to be locked down pretty much all day, beginning probably tomorrow afternoon. And then you get up here towards Gatlinburg. There's going to be flooding issues and high winds. They could see these 60, maybe 70 mile an hour wind gusts there. We pretty much have a medium chance of seeing a wind gust around 40 miles per hour here, and additional 5 inches of rain. Some of these areas are going to be okay in far northeast Alabama. There is a flash flood watch in effect though, and most of this rain is going to start coming in late tomorrow, maybe even tomorrow evening. But this evening, not much to worry about. A few showers, some drizzle, and then as we go start the day tomorrow, it won't be raining early in the day. In fact, it's going to be a really nice morning. Nice fall start, temperatures in the upper 50s and low 60s. Here come the clouds, here come the rain, and the wind is also not far behind. But this is a little delayed now by 9 o'clock or so. Don't be surprised if with an early arrival. But boy, once this moves in, AJ, it is going to move in for the rest of the night. Much of the morning on Friday, high impact here with the heavy rain. But you notice over here, areas around Phil Campbell and Russellville, Moulton, not much. So completely the opposite of Hurricane Francine, and as you see, it all has to do with the track. Out in the Shoals, they'll start to get this wraparound moisture into Friday and probably Friday night, and you'll probably see some wind gusts around 30 miles per hour. But overall, rain chances Saturday underneath this upper level low. They're going to be spotty, but there's still going to be some drizzle and light showers out there. Highest rainfall totals east of I-65, so just stay weather alert out there. There are 48 first alert weather days, but most of the impact tomorrow is coming very late in the day and probably around sunset. We've been trying to time that out all week long. We'll talk more about this at 4, 5, 6, and then again at 10. Back to you, AJ.
Well, thank you, Brad. Well, yesterday was Election Day in Huntsville as both the Huntsville City Council District 1 race and the Board of Education District 1 race both had gone to runoffs. Now, last night in the City Council race runoff, incumbent Devin Keith lost his seat to Michelle Watkins. Keith had held the seat for 2 terms, and Watkins had previously held the District 1 Board of Education seat prior to running for City Council. Watkins defeated Keith by over 350 votes. In the Board of Education race, Chandra Jones defeated Pat King by over 150 votes. And now in Tuscumbia, where a man was indicted on more than a dozen child porn charges. Now, according to court documents, Justin Shane Jones, that's who you're seeing on screen, was charged with 5 counts of production of child pornography and 8 counts of possession of child pornography on Thursday. Now, the documents state the victim's mother found a hidden cell phone with inappropriate photos of her daughter. The mother contacted the Colbert County Sheriff's Office on July 1st, which began the investigation. Investigators alleged there was a total of 3 victims. They said Jones filmed the victims and also used a baby camera. They also say they found images of a child's face superimposed on a nude woman's body. Investigators said the photo was made using artificial intelligence. Now, Jones was booked into the Colbert County Jail on a $270,000 bond. He will be back in court for his arraignment on October 3rd. And now let's head into a few stories in case you missed them. Yesterday, a Colbert County woman was sentenced to 30 years after being found guilty of animal cruelty. 48's Aria Pons with the details.
Of 6 felonies and over 30 misdemeanors after nearly 50 animals were found in deplorable conditions on her farm, along with 24 dead horses. Now, on Tuesday at her sentencing hearing, Judge Mitch Hayes had to go down the list of offenses and assign a sentence for each one. She will spend 9 years in prison and 21 years on probation. When going over her sentence, Judge Hayes listed some of the worst examples of how animals were treated in her care. A horse trying to claw its way out of a pond, a blind dog being left in a crate in the middle of the barn, horse bones being found in dog cages, cockroaches and mites being found in the dog's fur, and more. Hayes says that the pictures of her crimes could never be unseen, even calling this case the worst case of animal cruelty that the state has ever seen. Judge Hayes even had a message to share with Catledge before handing out the sentence. He says that, quote, "A community is defined by how they treat the least of things, like children, senior citizens, and animals." He says that mistreating an animal creates a dark cloud over a person's character. The courtroom was packed for the sentencing. When the assistant district attorney asked for people supporting the animals to stand up, over a dozen people stood. Catledge was silent during the proceedings. Catledge is planning on appealing her conviction. The judge set an appeal bond for $150,000 at the sentencing hearing on Tuesday. Catledge is currently booked in the Colbert County Jail on that bond. Reporting in Colbert County, Aria Pons, 48 on your side.
Well, thank you, Aria. And now in Marshall County, where 48 Savannah Sapp was yesterday, reporting on a school safety story after a loaded gun was found in a student's backpack. Savannah Sapp with more.
A community of parents left shocked after the arrest of one teen who police say brought a loaded gun to campus Monday afternoon. 16-year-old Giovanni Jean-Pierre is now behind bars facing multiple charges.
And I guess that just takes it a step further past the threats and, whether it's empty or not, it should still be taken seriously. But both of our reaction was shock, and it's scary. So I was scared, and I'll admit, I was like, I don't want her to go to school tomorrow,
Police say Jean-Pierre reportedly left school grounds at 9 a.m. Monday and returned later at 3 for football practice. A coach and the school's resource officer were notified that Jean-Pierre was in possession of a weapon. When the officer confronted the teen, he attempted to flee, resulting in Jean-Pierre being tased before his arrest. A .22 caliber pistol was found in the teen's bag. District Attorney Jennifer Bray says the staff's actions were heroic.
They did that without any hesitation. And because they did that without any hesitation, he was apprehended quickly and everyone was able to walk away yesterday without there being any kind of catastrophic result.
Albertville Police Chief J.T. Carty says Giovanni Jean-Pierre was discovered as the prime suspect in an armed robbery in Arab that took place hours before the incident on campus.
There's nothing to lead us to believe this young man brought that gun to the campus to do any harm. He had just had it in his backpack after stealing it the early morning hours.
Superintendent Bart Reeves says Jean-Pierre will not be allowed back on the AHS campus at any time. Tuesday afternoon, he urged parents to encourage their children to prioritize school safety.
Parents, we ask for your support in communicating this to your children. School safety is a shared responsibility, and we need your help.
Well, thank you, Savannah. Now a story that broke earlier today. Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall has resentenced a man convicted of capital murder for a shooting that happened in Morgan County back in 1993. Now, Roy Borges Jr. was originally convicted of the 1993 murder of 16-year-old Kevin Ray Gardner in 1994. He was originally sentenced to death for a crime he committed at 16 years old. In August of '93, Burgess lured Gardner out into a secluded area before shooting him in the head. He then robbed Gardner of what was on him and his car. He appealed his case in 2001 and received a lesser sentence of life without parole. However, in 2012, the Supreme Court ruled that mandatory life without parole sentences couldn't be given to juveniles. During a recent resentencing hearing, however, the court reviewed evidence and testimony regarding Burgess's age. The court ultimately decided the violent nature of the act, senselessness of the crime, and Burgess's greed outweighed his age at the time he committed that murder. He was again sentenced to life without parole. And now in a bit of lighter news, and we all know it, the first annual South Star Music Festival is coming to Huntsville's John Hunt Park this weekend. And of course, one of the bands performing this Saturday will be Gin Blossoms. Today, I got the chance to speak with Mr. Robin Wilson, lead vocalist of Gin Blossoms, as he previewed the South Star Festival. And we even got to bond a little over our love of Mexican food. Take a listen. Wilson from Gin Blossoms. Robin, thank you so much for joining. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good, thank you. Been exercising and running errands all morning, and then later on today I've got some recording I need to do here in my studio, and then I got to start doing my laundry, so I have plenty of clean underwear for Alabama this weekend. So looking forward to the show.
That's right, yes sir. My first question, have you ever been to Alabama first?
Yes, I've certainly driven through it many times. We've performed there several times. Our band has been at it for a while now, 37 years, and we have performed in all 50 of these United States. So yes, I have performed in Alabama before, and this weekend, this is the biggest show we're doing all year in terms of the size of the crowd and the audience and the other artists on the bill. We're small potatoes, which is why we're going on at 3:45 in the afternoon. But it's a great show, a great bill to be on, and I'm looking forward to spending the weekend there. And I'm actually going to stick around on Sunday and attend the concert with my girlfriend. So I'll be there all weekend, and I'm looking forward to it. And fingers crossed that I can find some good Mexican food down there in Alabama.
There is definitely plenty of that. Yeah, if you need some recommendations, I definitely have those, because there's nothing better than some good Mexican food. That is 100%.
It's my favorite.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
it's my favorite. I'm from Arizona. I grew up on fine Mexican food, and now I live here on Long Island in New York, and I make the best carnitas anywhere on Long Island. So that's what I do. That's what I do.
Well, very cool. Who are some of the other acts that you're looking forward to seeing?
Well, my girlfriend really wants to see Gwen Stefani and Goo Goo Dolls, so I think I'll be there for those two performances, and then Shinedown. I'm looking forward to Shinedown on the bill. So I think that's this weekend that they're on the bill.
Yes.
But generally I don't pay too much attention to the schedule and who else is there. I'm sort of preoccupied with my own confused life, and mostly I just focus on like what time do I need to be at the airport, and like what my band is going to be doing when we get on stage. What is our set going to look like? So
awesome interview today with Robin Wilson. I definitely need to try his carnitas. I bet he makes some stellar ones. But yes, Robin Wilson from Gin Blossoms. You can watch that full 48 Now interview right now on our website. Just go to WAFF.com. And of course, you can watch it on our YouTube channel as well in the 48 Now section. But now in some state news, all across the Yellowhammer, fans are getting stoked for the Alabama Crimson Tide taking on the Georgia Bulldogs this weekend in Tuscaloosa. And speaking of T-Town and college football, the National Championship Trophy recently made its way to a Piggly Wiggly here in Alabama. Kelvin Reynolds with WBRC reports.
The College Football National Championship Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper is an active participant in this year's college football season. The trophy actually goes on a tour each week of big college football games that are being played this season. Those visits drum up excitement and allow fans to pose for pictures with the trophy. The trophy does a midweek appearance twice a week during the season. One of the stops this week included a Piggly Wiggly in Tuscaloosa for the big Alabama-Georgia football game on Saturday. This is the trophy going to the winner of the first college football 12-team tournament. College football fans were excited to get a picture next to the trophy one team will claim at the end of this season.
It's what the event's about. We've got to come here for the trophy. It's only here every now and then, so we had to show up. It's beautiful.
We traveled around all year. It makes 120, 130 stops a year, ultimately ending up in the winner's trophy case at the end of the year.
That trophy goes to the team that wins the championship on January 20th that's played in Atlanta, Georgia. It's going to make two more stops on Friday, one in Leeds and one in Birmingham. If you go to the WBRC News app, we've got the schedule of where exactly the trophy will be and the times you can take a picture with it. Your reporter in Tuscaloosa, Kelvin Reynolds, WBRC, 6 News on your side.
Well, thank you, Kelvin. How cool. And now a cool story I saw earlier today. Inspired by little free libraries across Maine, a Mechanic Falls woman created a not-so-little free library for the community to enjoy. As Sam Rogers explains, the project was a family affair designed to inspire a love of reading. Take a look.
So when you come to the Little Free Library, we've got the sign purposely spelt incorrect to look like kids writing. I am a very firm believer in reducing, reusing, recycling.
After grabbing some used books at other free little libraries, Tiana Morgan had the idea to bring one to her neighborhood, and the family project was born.
I grabbed a bunch of pallets, I measured them out, I built a floor for it, 6 by 6, and then I started putting pallets for the walls, and then I repurposed a bunch of other stuff, and there it was. It came together.
The dad, Stan or Sonny, was the lead handyman, following orders from Carrie and Tiana, the so-called developers.
And it matches the house. They had to have that.
I did. It really brings a smile to my face. It's just so enlightening to see how everybody is enjoying it.
Located right on their front lawn, this is one of the many little free libraries around the world. You can actually search for this one or find a library closest to you online and travel to as many as you can.
That's my favorite part, is coming in and seeing where people are coming from.
Coming from all over to donate their old books for someone else to explore.
Oxford, Naples, everywhere.
From nonfiction reads to comic books, there's something for everyone, especially for kids.
It's been a joy seeing little kids come out with big smiles on their face with their books.
I'll watch from the window and kids are literally jumping with joy. It is the coolest thing to see.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. I was amazed. I didn't think it would be that popular.
What started as a cool idea for the neighborhood, this library now serves the greater community with a goal of helping kids or young adults find their love for reading like Tiana did.
It's better to read and learn about different things, and it can introduce you to different things and actually change your life.
That's right, kids. If you're watching right now, reading is cool. And remember that right now. But now let's head into the stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscast. A new mowing ordinance in Huntsville. Get the details on that story you're just not going to want to miss. How to ensure your child is getting quality rest. And finally, one Alabama town receiving a $20 million grant to go towards preventing flooding and sewage overflow. Find out where from 48's Daquan Lee. For that story, you're just not going to want to miss. And now I believe it is time for Facebook Fun. If you are new to Before the Four, stick around for Facebook Fun. This is how we like to end Before the Four every single day. And our Facebook question of the day was, what 3 things would you bring with you to an island getaway? I'm trying to think of 3 things I would bring. I would probably have to bring probably a microwave, a lifetime supply of microwavable taquitos, because those things are really good. And I would probably have to just bring my gym to this deserted island so that I could still work out, of course. I think those are the 3 things I would bring. But what I want to know is what you all had to say. And let's see. Matthew, thank you for commenting, Matthew. He said a spotting scope, binoculars, and field guide. Hey, those are 3 very essential things to have. Absolutely. Matthew, thank you so much for commenting. Barbara said coffee, chocolate, and a good book. Absolutely, Barbara. I mean, you cannot go wrong with those 3 things right there. It'd be cool if we could bring that tiny library and we'd have a bunch of books there as well. But Barbara, thank you so much for commenting. Tyler said a boat, a life jacket, and a captain. We going back home. That's right, Tyler. Hey, well, I mean, if that works, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for commenting. Jeff said plenty of fried bologna. Cannot go wrong with fried bologna. Jeff doesn't even need the other 2 things. Honestly, no one needs the other 2 things. All you need is fried bologna, and you know, I'm good. That's all we need is some fried bologna. But Jeff, thank you so much for commenting. How do you feel about fried bologna sandwiches? Like, you put some mayo on it. Oh, it's so good. I would probably bring fried bologna. I'd bring my Duke's mayo, and I would bring obviously some sandwich bread so I can make a fried bologna sandwich. But Jeff, thanks again for commenting. That is just about all the time I have in today's Before the Four. But I want to thank you all for sticking around with me and spending a little of your Wednesday afternoon here on Before the Four. If you haven't done so already, make sure you download the 48 Digital app, the 48 First Alert Weather app, and of course the 48 Sport Zone app. Turn on the push notifications and never miss a breaking story. But with that said, that's all the time I have. But of course, thank you for watching. You all have a great night.